Does a television ad or a 1.5 minute inspirational spot reaching them today?
Right now in the zeitgeist, you have people who are very scared of AI.
Nothing generic kind of works anymore. Like everything kind of you can subculture and stand out.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Brandfathers. We are back again, finally all together. We are going to discuss how we would solve marketing conferences. We're going to top into AI marketing campaigns recently from Cartier, from Claude, and many others. And we'll talk about some collaborations and if doing television ads would actually reach Gen Z. Without further ado, we'll jump in.
All right. The Brandfathers are back. Nothing happened this week in the world, so there's not really much to talk about. Ashwin, do you want to report in on the unemployment rate in the area that you're at in the world right now?
The unemployment rate is 110% here. There's not a single person working in SoCal, okay? I'm here for a conference. No one is working at the conference, number one. Number two, between the hours of 6 and 9 o'clock in the morning, there are no coffee shops open outside of Starbucks and Dunkin'. I'm a triple shot cappuccino guy. I can't get it at Starbucks, okay? So I need something mildly decent. I need a step above that. There's nothing open here. So that's like number one. Number two, I'm in San Clemente yesterday. I was trying to talk to a couple of brokers down there, okay? For anyone listening in New York, you know what the experience is like contacting a broker. You so much as go on a straight easy listing. 15 guys will call you within 3 seconds, okay? They'll show you listings that they don't even have under their belt. This place, I'm not getting texts back. I'm not getting calls back. I'm like, hey, I'm here. I'm willing to look at this place today. They're like, yeah, sorry, I can't. You can't what? Do you work? Do you guys work down here? Now I'm losing my mind. I'm getting the fuck out of here, dude.
Are you trying to find a retail space to open your coffee shop? Are you acting now, or are you looking for some other project?
I'm looking for all kinds of things, but what I'm really looking for now is where are all of these people spending their time who are not working? Are they at saunas, cold plunges, Pilates studios? Because that's what I'm actually going to be buying down here.
They're at the beach.
This is definitely an epidemic. Like, look, at least in my town, and look, I'm part of the problem, but I amble over to the coffee shop near where I live. There's 75 to 100 laptop job girlies who are there with their friends on whatever Zoom, who are then definitely going to, they're in Pilates gear. They're ready to go to Pilates right after.
Post or pre-Pilates.
And so, I'm there with my unemployed wife. And but look, also, if you're you don't call your realtor in Southern California. You go surf with your realtor. You check if they're on the break. You know what I'm saying? You throw them a shotgun. You'd be like, hey, can we swing by that place this weekend? And they're like, maybe.
I actually don't know how you, Oren, survive down here as someone who is like constantly trying to move at 200 miles per hour and no one's moving here.
Because I get to walk outside. Like twice a day, I have an existential crisis. And I get to walk out into the beautiful blue yonder, go jump in the ocean. And it helps keep that balance. I think you're going to benefit greatly from that when you become the Pilates mogul of Southern California.
I think I would. I mean, that's an inevitability coming down here, running a few Pilates studios, opening up a coffee shop.
Hey, the real hack, Ashwin, is Blue Bottle. I think opens at 7. They are my solve when I go out there. It's like they're corporate enough that they've expanded across California and New York, but not so corporate that you can't get good coffee. You can do a pour over at like 7:01 a.m.
There is a Blue Bottle open at 6 o'clock. And so I went there and I was like, this is interesting. I'm surprised that it's open this early for what in my mind was this kind of like specialty, coffee. They were bought by Nestle.
Oh, were they?
Yeah. So I was like, all right, checks out. Nestle's like, no, we're competing with Dunkin' and Starbucks over here. We're opening this place up at 6.
They do a good pour over. It's solid. Always dependable.
It's a good spot. Yeah, I like it. So if you're looking for early morning coffee, Blue Bottle.
Of course, if Onyx Coffee were there, we would support our Onyx brethren. But yeah, we love a good Blue Bottle.
But Ashley, what are you doing in this wonderful part of the world?
Yet another B2B marketing conference. This time I was at Content Marketing World. With the output of being at what we've all like collectively been to 10 conferences over the past year. I think the output of this is like, we're just going to start our own conference. We're going to run something where you have good speakers on stage, where not every slot. Well, here's actually the fundamental problem, right? So I'm like violently texting Oren during the entirety of this conference. I'm listening to this person speak about 10 things that marketers need to know going into 2026, okay? Who is presenting?
Yeah.
Someone who works at the Association of American Marketing. So I'm like, all right, I've made a horrible mistake coming in here. But I go in there, and she has about 10 slides. And the first slide is soft skills are more in demand than hard skills.
Okay.
Number 2, generative AI is only exploding. In demand skill. Great. What is the in demand skill with generative AI? If anything, I'd make the argument that there's a lot of skills that are like not in demand as a result of generative AI. So it's like these really, really nebulous, generic headline things, but there's like 200 people in this room, right? There's people sitting on the floor, like people eager to get some insight, some wisdom as to what skills they should actually develop. And what is so crazy to me is like Oren's done a couple of these videos, both on his YouTube as well as short form. Like there's more value in like 45 seconds of him talking than a 45-minute presentation from this person at the Association of American Marketing. And it's so crazy how there's so many of these talks that are just like very abstract, very generic, nothing of value given. And listen, there's like a handful of good ones, but the majority of them are bad. And the majority of them are pay to play by the sponsor company themselves. So you're just kind of watching an ad for their software or their like service or their book or their consulting firm. How many ways do you guys want to be making money? You're making $1,500 a head off the ticket sales. You're making money on the sponsor booths. You're making money on the sponsor talks. What are we doing here? Really pissed me off.
What are you doing there is my biggest question.
He's paid to be there.
I was like, you have to be being paid to go. Like for me to go to those conferences, I'll go and I'll speak and then I have to go. Like I can't sit for 8 hours.
Oh, yeah. To be clear, I was there with a company. I was there with user testing. I have a partnership with them, but like they had a talk and their talk was actually like great. And you know why it was great? They just showed examples of like, hey, we were like going to run these ads. And then, hey, we were going to like test this out. And then here's what the results were. Like, what do you as the audience think? Okay, here's what the results were. And then it kind of like ties back to the value in like testing messaging before it like goes live, right? Which is like a thing that like half of my content is about like how bad marketing gets out there in the world and why people should test it. So I'm like happy to kind of like have that relationship with them.
Yep.
So they were just an attendee of the conference. And so they're like, hey, we have this long-going partnership. Why don't you come out here with us and we'll like make some content together. So I was not there with Content Marketing World. I was there with user testing, but it's bad. I mean, we even noticed this at Con. We like sat in on a couple of these things and it's just like, what are these people saying? Who are they talking to?
This is why there's so much demand for the stuff that we do and the content we put out and why it was so, I keep looking back at like what we did almost as like an era. Cause now it's like, I was actually looking at this last night. I was like, oh, there's like 100 good marketing creators now. Like they're coming out of left field, left and right constantly. And I'm like, okay, so we had like an era where it was like, this was the only option you had available to like be able to talk about. Now that's kind of getting saturated. No one even knows where to go, right? If you aren't terminally online on short form video or like a YouTube consumer, which is basically anyone Gen X and above, where do you even, I'm going to read the next Seth Godin book that's the same as the first 15 books. You know, like there's nothing for you, you know?
Fair.
Yeah.
Fair.
I think what's also interesting is like, you know, Jordan talks about things like through the lens of sports marketing. There's like, you know, there's kind of all of these niches of like, talk about specific industries and then even within that talk about certain plays, right? So like Bima just talks about like collab marketing and like whether or not it's smart, and that is like an entire audience wants to consume all of that information because it's like so detailed and so precise and such a good analysis of why it works and why it doesn't and like where it misses the mark and what they could be doing better. And you have to have like a level of precision and like kind of niche to be able to speak to. Otherwise you end up saying things like, hey, storytelling and authenticity matter for brands.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, if you got to say that and then provide supporting evidence, you know, and otherwise it's just so much jargon, you know, it is like just so much jargon and I can't stand it.
Yeah, the stuff, it's too high level. It's way too high level. But I will say there was one talk that I sat in that was really good. This person was talking about launch strategies, how you can make noise with a launch of like your product, service, content, whatever it is. And she did so through the lens of this space that she spends all of her time, which is Bookstagram, right? So it's just like the niche of like authors releasing books, releasing chapters. She did such a fascinating deep dive on each one of her points. She was like, this is how you can tease a product. And like, I'm from like the CPG, like physical products world, but I watch her stuff and I'm like, oh yeah, there's actually nothing about the book strategy that's interesting to me, but like I have clear examples of every single thing that she talks about that I can now apply back to my own stuff. And I was like, yes, that is perfect. Like it was so detailed within her sub niche that like anyone who's sitting in that audience can walk away from that and be like, oh yeah, I remember that principle and I remember these ideas and how to execute on it. Okay, that's great.
Yeah, I do think you need to provide evidence and examples, and whether, regardless of whether they're in your specific niche or not, it still makes a compelling argument and it supports what you're trying to say.
And I do think that the important point you have there for anyone listening too, whether you're a brand or a person, is like the lens is crucial now. It's like, okay, don't make content about marketing. Don't make content about clothes, whatever that is. Like applying that like sports marketing, book talk, collab, whatever, like niching down, qualifying on everything. Like nothing generic kind of works anymore. You know, like everything kind of, you can subculture and stand out. The way that the sports marketing niche, the collab niche, the book niche, the whatever, like the era of the informal parable is kind of over, right? Like the best way to find it is to be like, I have this subsection of things that I approach.
How do you square that with the internet's creative director, Oren? How do you define yours?
I'm just thinking of like if you're new and try to stand out, right? I think we have, but even look at that, like I really at the end of the day, the content that resonates is like aesthetic and luxury. I have some big swaths like aesthetic marketing. It's a lens still, but it's a big lens.
Yeah, good point. Yeah, that makes sense. All right, well, we're going to fix conferences someday. If somebody wants to partner with the Brandfathers to actually make a conference that would be worthwhile, I think you got to limit them to 4 hours, I think, and make something transformative.
Yes.
Let's pop into some of the things that are happening here this week. I will say, Ashwin, that was probably the most fired up I've seen you.
You just have to send me to SoCal for a week at a time, and I just am pissed off at the end of the week. But I do love it here.
Only the New Yorker gets mad in SoCal. All the rest of us.
Have you considered cannabis? Which widely available.
A little bit of CBD.
It's about starts.
I love SoCal for the record.
I'm going to pop it on screen here.
Claude's AI campaign.
There's never been a better time to have a problem. And then the keep thinking tagline. Ashwin, you've gone after Claude. You've hit Anthropic where it hurts on the internet.
Wow.
Put up millions of views doing it. How do you feel about this campaign?
They listened. They saw that first time. They're like, yeah, we missed the mark on that. So we're going to come back with something clearer so he doesn't make a video again. Yeah, that's good.
Get the video on.
There's never been a worse time. Problem. 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 There's never been a worse time. There's never been a worse time.
There's never been a better time. A better time to have a problem. To be stuck. To be overwhelmed. To be impatient. To be out of ideas or out of your depth. Out of breath. There's never been a better time to have a medical condition. Just look at the research being done. To have no qualifications, no resources. To not understand, feel insignificant. To feel restless. Right now, there really has never been a better time.
Sick. Yeah. Well done. I mean,
let's go. Yeah.
What agency did it? Let's see.
Directed by Daniel Wolf.
Okay.
Production company Love Song Films.
Does it tell us?
So
yeah, it's really really good.
So something that I find interesting about that is I don't know if it was them. I saw another AI ad recently that was shot in a very similar style, and when I say similar style, kind of like has these like nostalgic undertones to it, has like a little film grain, looks like it's like shot in scenes from like the 80s and 90s, like people in a garage, like working on something, and then like AI is this companion to them. And I thought that was a good commercial because like right now in this kind of like zeitgeist, you have people who are like very scared of AI, and it's like it's taking our jobs, it's doing everything for us, it's thinking for us, we're losing our capacity to like create and do and be people. And when I see an ad like that from Anthropic, they're like, hey, no, keep doing all of these things. Like there's this very like physical element to problem solving, and like we are just this tool that like helps you get there a little bit faster rather than we're going to wipe all this stuff out. So intentional or not, I'm sure there's probably like some intentionality to it. That's how it kind of like strikes me.
It is interesting as the incumbent. I look at there's ChatGPT is the main player, Claude is the incumbent, and they're basically being like, cool, we're just going to be good at marketing and like branding. That's basically their value prop for something that's very similar. Obviously, they have a better coding product and a few of these other pieces, but a big part of their strategy is like, yeah, we're actually going to do campaigns and out of home and social media and this stuff that like ChatGPT, the only attempt is that terrible Joni Ive thing.
I think this campaign is actually great, and it resonates a little bit with what I've been feeling recently. I think if this AI had been to the level when I started entrepreneurship 3 years ago, it really would have been a game changer. I mean, just in the last week, I think there's been twice where, I've had something on my to-do list to do like a proposal to a company or agency asked me for some consulting work. I was about to eat lunch yesterday and I'm like, shoot, I need to do that. I step outside and give it like a 30-second prompt, and it basically delivers me 95% of the proposal based on my custom ChatGPT. Thank you, Ashwin. And if you want to know how to build your own custom GPT, go check out our episode from a couple weeks ago. But now it has all my info. It's got my specialty, and it can write a proposal in like 30 seconds. And I will go in and put the finishing touches on it. But that is amazing to be able to just do that. That's the busy work that takes up so much of your time as an entrepreneur, a creator, a solopreneur.
Yeah, 100%.
They did lose me at the rock climber, though.
They lost you at the what?
The rock climber. What is AI helping you do in rock
helping
climbing?
you
like
solve those problems. Yeah.
That woman or man, whoever it was up there like free solo climbing at the top of like Utah. And I don't know what Claude's doing for you up there. I will say, you know what? And another launch that happened this week that's kind of is Meta Ray-Ban and Meta Oakley. When I got the Meta Ray-Ban, the first one, I was like, okay, this one's really interesting. You can see the potential. And then I got the Meta Oakleys, which were even better. But it was like, okay, I see the potential. You can very clearly see the path to the heads-up display. And sure enough, this week we got the announcement of the heads-up display, because that would be like your unlock. So I do think like if you were rock climbing in those glasses and you said, hey, Meta, I need help getting from here to there. Can you map this? Like that's where a place where it might actually be helpful. You can definitely see the future and what's going on from there.
So my kind of issue on this is it's still weird. I got these first glasses. I use them more as regular Ray-Bans. I've recorded using them like twice. They look great. These Oakleys look great. This one's especially. I think the performance element is kind of the only place it's really usable, because even I've noticed I wear the regular Ray-Bans all the time and they're not recording, but people like know and are like kind of weird about it. If it's recording, they're super weird about it. Performance, so basically you're turning into a GoPro and giving people data. That seems like that has some potential, but I just like, everyone's strange about like being recorded about it, as they kind of should be. And even like, have you guys seen this girl, Elizabeth Eats New York?
No.
Only if my other guy has called her out in New York City.
Her account is all Meta Ray-Ban going to stuff in New York, and it's amazing. She's awesome, and the content is good. But you can tell, like, she goes to this one, she's like at the place across from JP Morgan saying, women, if you want a husband who's boring but makes money, like go to this food court. And then she's asking like guys if she can network and shit like that with the glasses on. But it's like weird. Everyone is like weird about it.
But there's very specific use case. This is a great example for a use case. Like New York City is very visually stimulating. There is a lot around you. It's also kind of enclosed. And what I have found is like for me, so I'm creating content on the golf course a lot, right? It's actually not a great experience. You need that sport glass to do something like cycling would be really cool, running. I think there are limitations to the thing. Like I'm trying to hit a tiny white ball with a pretty thin stick, and then it goes off into the distance. It's not a great experience. This, where you feel immersive. I've done the retail walkthroughs, but it's kind of hard because I'm wearing glasses indoors, and then you very clearly are like recording. And yeah, to your point, Oren, it's a little weird. I'm always trying to be like, hey, I'm like I'm trying to wave like a white flag and letting people know I am, because it is weird. But this new one with heads up display is really interesting, and like the hand stuff with the almost like Whoop band with it.
This I get. Even if I was wearing these running or doing whatever, if it's giving me actual useful info and I don't have to bring a phone. So the way that whatever the Apple Watch was, back when I actually used an Apple Watch, was the one where they released it where you didn't need the phone and you could still run your audio and stuff. And so I would go paddleboarding or whatever, and I didn't have to bring anything. That was great.
Yeah. I saw a guy that actually was talking about the Apple Watch as a way of as it being like a dumb phone almost, which I would be interested in. But you can tell
now it's jumped the shark. Like you can't have an Apple Watch in this year before.
Yeah, it's true. Well, yeah, I think the sport glass is the key. And that's when I first got them. I was asking, the Oakley people, I was like, when are we getting like a wraparound with this? And they're like, it's coming. So it'll be here and they'll just continue to evolve it. All right. Are we going to make fun of Nike for saying they changed Just Do It to Why Do It?
I don't, look. I'm curious. Starting with, you could probably imagine where Jordan and my opinions lie. Ashton, what do you think of Just Do It rebranding to Why Do It for Gen Z?
There's no way they rebranded it.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Look at all the assets. Just Do It is all over them.
But then it changes.
Does it?
Every single thing from now is all Why Do It.
No, not at all. Everything signs off with Just Do It. The only thing that changed.
Then what's the point? This is just some fucking PR.
It's the dumbest PR pitch I've ever seen. Like, it got a lot of pickup, but the only thing that does Why Do It is now Tyler, the creator, does the voiceover and says, Why Do It?
I love how Tyler, the creator, became the voice of Gen. Look, Tyler, creator, amazing artist, fully fucking millennial, fully like some old people shit. If you know what Camp Flog Gnaw is, you're old as fuck. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I was like, how is that now? Oh, we need someone to appeal to the youth. We need diversity to appeal to the youth. Let's get an old guy. Is like a crazy. Well, sorry. Anyway, there's like 1,000 amazing Gen Z people.
He is
anyway, keep going.
He's way younger. He's way younger than William Dafoe, who did the last one. And who's like literally old.
No, my guy's
Tyler,
older
the creator,
than Ashwin.
Yes, but like here's where you would want you want Speed or somebody, right? Kai Cenat. Like you want someone younger. I mean, yeah.
Yes.
This is there is a larger question that was posed in my comment. To me, this is just like it's a stupid thing. And then Adweek and everybody picked this up and said, oh, Nike changes their tagline to Why Do It? And then literally every one of their sign-off assets has Just Do It at the end. So all they really changed was the voiceover. I think there's a bigger question. Like, if you actually wanted to reach Gen Z, does a television ad or a 1.5 minute, inspirational spot reaching them today? Even Instagram?
Nothing Nike does is for Gen Z. All of this is for older people to just get the attention back that they're even thinking about that, to try and pump that lagging stock price.
You're not wrong. I would submit this to like almost any company. Wow, they're up to $71. They're only down $100 from 2022.
From when Jordan departed.
I departed.
Jordan, what's that lock
sold at once. I sold at 167, bro. Like, I am serious. I just can't imagine some of my dear friends who are there who have half of their net worth locked up in this.
Look, it dumped to 54. So Why Do It? Them marketing Why Do It to Millennial and Gen X who don't know any better helped pump this stock price up to 71.
No, that's only in the last week. Elliot Hill, the hire, who's a great hire. I hope he can save them. But I have a bigger. So Under Armour launched a campaign which we gotta talk about. But like, they're closer because they have a streamer in it. They have Gunna.
Gunna.
Yeah. They have okay. There you go. Yeah, go to We Are Football. Let's watch. It's 3 minutes, so just watch a little bit of it. Right?
Classic 3-minute Under Armour ad.
I know. Gen Z.
I'm just gonna put this on the background while we talk. That's
okay.
Easier.
Justin Jefferson is eating cereal. Gunna, who's now got a fitness rebrand, and he's doing like run clubs. Under Armour is sponsoring him in run clubs, which is really smart.
Yeah. It's Gunna.
Then they have a bunch of NIL high school kids who are basically challenging someone to come take them, and Justin Jefferson's like, yeah, okay, bet, I got it. So he hits a bunch of his NFL buddies who pull up in all these like Hellcat
Chargers. Sorry, anyway.
Hellcat, dude. But this is very on brand. If you were a high school kid, The Hellcat is the pinnacle for any car attainment.
Look, all I want in life, my later in life car is going to be the Dodge minivan with the Hellcat engine, the getaway vehicle where you just don't know, and it's just
would be
long story.
That would be so sick. So they basically do this like big spot. They've got all these young NFL players. Cam Ward, Gunna is emceeing
Gunna is one of the
it.
most important rappers of our time and one of the most popular, unanimously approved. Besides, like unless you're like in like saying he's a snitch, is an excellent choice for this. He's post Drake basically not having the cultural pull he did. He's probably got the most sauce.
I know. Should we break down the Young Thug Gunna beef?
Sure. Do you want to talk about YSL? Fucking
yeah.
YSL.
So they've got a stream. They've got this kid, the streamer Razclot. What's his something Rakai. So they've got a streamer. They've got Gunna. They've got Justin Jefferson and Cam Ward, like young NFL star. Like Justin Jefferson, I would argue, is the most marketable NFL player outside of Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce. So like they're doing a lot here that's fun. My question to y'all is like, I have a kid now who's getting close to, who's Gen Alpha. Is a television commercial like a 1 to 3 minute spot done by like a big ad agency? I'm just not sure that this is how you would reach this generation. It's one piece of the marketing pie, so I don't want to say that that's the only thing, but I'm just curious y'all's thoughts on that. Wow, there's literally nothing for Gunna Under Armour? It's all on Instagram, I think. Yeah, you've seen him like lead run clubs and stuff now, Gunna with Under Armour. It's a smart pick. Wow, Under Armour getting 431 views on their TikTok. Wow, that's rough. What do y'all think? Television commercials to reach Gen Z?
I think it's like I think a campaign that stood out was the CeraVe campaign that they ran around the Super Bowl with like Michael Cera and then all of these other influencers.
Yep.
That was like, I hate to use the term, but it's like, I think that was like a true kind of like 360 campaign over a period of time, like over a couple of months that actually had some like cultural resonance. There has to be, I don't know all of the ins and outs of this Gunna campaign, but if the idea is like, hey, let's get this guy, we'll have him do collab, we'll do a TV spot, and then post a couple of things on Instagram, that's not going to be it. But if they're pulling in other creators and influencers to talk about this, if they have some more longevity across all of these other channels, then you're going to get more reach with this. So I can't comment on this specifically. I don't have enough info, but
I would argue in football, football TV has a bigger resonance, right? Because people are watching the games, people are on it. There isn't the same clipping culture because they prohibit you from posting a lot of the same stuff. So I do think if you're trying to reach kids into football, and honestly, you're going to get any Gen Z into football is probably listening to Gunna. I actually think like if you're going to approach a traditional campaign, this is about as good as you could do it. But then said, is that going to be the end of that reach? No, You
know what's so funny? When you said American football is like the last monoculture moment we have in America, and I will say, shout out to my buddy Tyler, who came from Overtime to Under Armour as their SVP of brand or whatever he is now. And they are they like understand like kids' culture and media consumption habits. And one of the brilliant things that if they did a live stream, they would have like the top YouTubers be the commentary people when I went to their stadium in Atlanta.
I get it.
And then a lot of times they wouldn't even do a live broadcast because kids aren't consuming a live sporting event. They want to see the 10 to 20 minute recap of the game. So there's a lot of ways that they're tapping in that's smart.
All right, I want to pop in. I want to move on to brands using AI slop, right?
Okay.
So this is a Hennessy post with 18,000 likes. It's a Hennessy ring, a Hennessy shot ring.
Okay.
So they're showing off a product concept. And this is just one of those, and like the comments are all like, need,
Yeah.
This is genius. And I want to just use this as a reminder is that we're in this world, like, I don't even know if we talked about the J. Crew thing, where like J. Crew made an ad campaign, didn't say it was AI. There's like Substack think pieces by like washed bloggers about like how this is the end of J. Crew or whatever. Or like, the end of it's just kind of like is where it is. Whereas your average consumer, and obviously we deal with creative people all the time, where any of us make an ad or anything by AI, it's like AI, which has some relevancy. Average consumer, like Hennessy is going, this is just America. Fucking people that consume alcohol of any age level, like, no, they are all AI in, and no one gives a shit.
Well,
no one cares.
Okay,
I know.
Hold on, because if we go back to that Hennessy ring concept, I'm looking at that and I'm like, yeah, that's sick. I'm in. That didn't strike me as AI.
Yeah, that doesn't look clearly AI. Like the sizing on the hand to the bottle, maybe. But like,
so okay, if you didn't know, you wouldn't know. And that's also another big point of this is like, we're just not going to fucking know.
And they don't have to have, there's no laws right now that have to say, like I think in print mags,
they should have to put AI info
yeah.
on here according to Instagram's terms of fucking service, but no one does it.
And how you have that?
So there was a Cartier ad. We can pull that one up because I think it's a good example of good versus bad. And when companies do it poorly, it can be a disaster. But
this has 300.
Yeah. So if you look at this, okay, the plane is flying backwards.
It is. Yeah. Are they?
But that's the
idea.
Are they
like rage baiting here?
Yeah.
No, because they're not good enough to know how to do that. They're like not online.
This is embarrassing for the company. Someone is getting fired.
Yeah, and it's people are catching that. So this is actually a good kind of split between two. And I think it is very dangerous for a company like Cartier, where it's, hey, your whole kind of business and premise is on attention to detail and craftsmanship, and you made tons of money off the back of that idea. So I think there's two things at play here. Number one, you can't hire someone to do this. Okay, fine, like tired take. But number two, you don't want to even actually have attention to detail on the thing that you do put out. When people look at this, they say, oh, yeah, this is the quality of AI outputs and this is how bad it is. No, this is the quality of someone inexperienced using some tooling and just prompting it 5 times and then stitching together 6-second clips from like Nano Banana or something. Whereas I follow some people who are kind of, they're former directors, producers, they are directors, producers, they've been in the kind of movie industry, and they are building AI augmented teams and putting out commercials. I follow them on Twitter as well as Instagram. They are putting out some absolutely phenomenal stuff that is not slop. It takes them a lot of time. It might take them a week to put together a commercial relative to a month-long shoot, whatever it is.
And this was
DJ Ace, yeah. He's great. He's great.
He did the custom ads.
And so you have to know what you're doing. And we've talked about this in previous episodes, but you have to have people who have done whatever output you're looking for to some degree, still managing this process and directing it and editing it. You can't just go into these platforms and say, hey, generate an ad for me, generate copy for me, because that's how you get slop like Cartier's gotten.
And this is, I normally hate AI ads, but this is good. It's probably the biggest indicator of what we have in our times is that basically people, as long as they enjoy it, they're not going to give a shit. It's when it's slop like we saw with Cartier that they get mad.
Yeah. And to your point, Ashwin, you've talked about this a lot. If you're Cartier, your differentiator as a brand is your craftsmanship. Like you shouldn't have to do artificial anything. Just show us like crafting your watches and the timeless experience.
Yeah, and I also think it's a kind of missed opportunity again for someone like Cartier to go in and say, hey, we have this heritage, we're prestige, we're luxury. Here's what we see happening in the macro, right? What everyone, every company, every CMO, every digital team is talking about AI. We're actually going to take a stance and say, hey, when everyone's doing X, we're going to lean so much harder in the other direction that could actually, I think, generate them more goodwill, and they could just stand out in a sea of what else is happening. That I mean, I don't see this as a right play for them, and certainly not this execution.
Yeah.
Show us their other posts, Warren. What else are they doing?
Like elevated ass Cartier content.
A lot of leopards here.
Beautiful.
A lot of leopard.
A lot of.
Oof. Well, this is all AI too,
or CGI. Hard to tell. I would imagine.
Yeah, that's true.
But then that's CGI. But then also, I want to contrast this with Jacob & Co. I loved this campaign. They got a real chameleon, and put him in front of all of the Jacob & Co. $1 million watches.
Wow.
And then shot him changing the colors.
That's cool.
Which is just like one of those where like, hey, this is an idea. This is like a genuine idea.
Yeah.
And executed with, again, must have taken them some ungodly amount of time to do this naturally. But this is like the example of positioning the other way, like true luxury. Like, all right, cool. Like 40 million views like on doing this, right? See if I can find it.
Yeah, it's clever.
And I like that. I also want to call out that our boy Jacob himself is posting the metrics. Like that's a post from Jacob being like, hey, let me break down how good my shit was. Like, which is kind of what you have to do. You have to cheerlead in this era that we're in, right? Yeah. And I don't know if I'm going to be able to find this in here appropriately.
Wow. Those are wild.
Van website, shout the gods.
I always thought, the U.S. Open while you're there, Rolex, Carlos Alcaraz puts his Rolex on, and then it like immediately cuts to a Rolex ad, which I thought I'm always a sucker for the confetti moment. Like they're like showing him on the bench, like wiping his face off, and then he's like putting his watch on, and then it like cuts to the Rolex ad, which was really great. Yeah, there he is.
Man, how many more guys can be duped into buying a Rolex?
Yeah, I don't know. This is not my, I've seen like watch talk, Watchtagram, and it's interesting. I never know. It's funny. Like I was at a thing recently, a couple guys had a Rolex and I was like, oh yeah, they might do well for themselves. And I was like, or maybe they're irresponsible financially. I'm not sure. Like, like that's where we are today. I don't know. I don't know what the cool kid, the it watch is, like
there is no it watch. Having a watch in itself is just such a negative signaler, unless you use it to tell the time and it's like, and you enjoy it and it's vintage or it's whatever, it has a story to it. But spending $10K plus on that is now, I think, has become the opposite signaler that you'd want it to be.
I agree with you on this. I think there's...
Ashwin, you have 5 or 6 Rolexes, right?
What is
you're looking at the Tourbillon, right? Yeah. The skeleton Cartier. This goes unnecessarily hard. Sorry. Just have to... The roulette, Jacob and sorry, keep going. Yeah. Yeah, you're the 10th guy with the submariner at the High Rocks. Like, yeah, so crazy.
Yeah, it's true. Shout out Particle.
I do. We could run this off. It's funny. I did a Particle video today about collabs. And this is actually really interesting. So maybe it's worth a talking point. The Kith Armani collab, which I always look at that. Kith always be doing these like 9. I'm like, how much do they really sell? This is the perfect Particle use case for a video. And bro, it was like 12 shoes, 20 shirts, 6, whatever, which again is like the point. But I'm like, they spent 6 figures on the lookbook. Like it's purely brand building. But then you look at the other side. I looked at the Skims Cavalli, where it's like, hey, we're going to offer luxury at the Skims price point. And it's just swimsuits with tigers on them. Literally, that's the Skims Cavalli release. $1 million worth of swimsuits, more than $1 million worth of swimsuits, thousands of like the key SKUs. And you're just like, look at these approaches to like what brand building looks like. And like one can make money and one's purely posturing. And obviously Kith does tens of millions of dollars a month. They do amazing for themselves. But I was just like, man, it's really interesting to look at that.
Well, you're like two opposite ends of the spectrum there, right? You take the really high dollar item that is very aspirational, that you're going to sell a few units to pull up the cotton basic that you're going to sell for a higher margin than it would normally be, right? And you're going to sell a bunch of that quantity. And then on the other side, you're taking a really aspirational thing and you're making it more affordable to win. Then it's like a grab for people to be able to experience a bit of that luxury, and they're getting that in quantity, which is... But then the other side of the lever.
The in the middle. Like, so I looked at the Neighborhood Malbin collab, which was like, cool. Yeah, that's a thin crossover, but it's like 100 of everything. So they made it to sell out for the fans at a decent premium price point. And you kind of move through. But those are really like those. If you look at like collab strategy, right? Like that's kind of your angle. Like Kith is trying to pull their price up. They're saying we can sit next to Armani and we can charge $600 and no one's going to question it. We're building our brand equity. Skims is saying we're going to make money by offering luxury at a lower brand, like at a lower cost and access. And then versus the like, hey, let's make something in the middle that we know is going to sell out, like for the fans. And those are kind of your collab methodologies.
Steven and them like pulled some of the greatest collab levers in history. He exploited like...
Well, they started by bootlegging, right?
Yeah, so there's like this little boot... Like it was the perfect person to come from streetwear and then go into golf and just follow me for a second. But if you were to go to a golf course, there is something called a green grass account, which is basically like in golf, you're either like going to a Golf Galaxy or a PGA Tour Superstore, or you're going to like a course that sells golf merch. Those are the 2 places you can really buy golf merch. And since he was not a big box, like traditional account, that there's only like 5 of those in the world, they put him as like a green grass account, which was like, he's like a course. And courses all have a carve out where they can print on that apparel. If you were just a normal store, you're not allowed to alter that apparel in any way outside of an official collab. But since he was like listed as this like carve out as a course where they're allowed to print their course name and logo on a polo that's like a Nike or a Peter Millar or a Sunday Red, he was able to do that and then put like Malbon Golf next to Nike. And so it looked like a collaboration, but it wasn't. It was just like him buying blanks and then putting a Malbon thing and printing on it.
Legendary run.
Legendary. And that was like kind of peak collaboration era, where now it's gotten like, they have one every Friday and they do it probably to your point. Maybe they're selling 100, 200 units, but it's really brilliant. And an interesting way to solve a classic problem. And in new spaces like golf, that'll be really interesting. But if you look at Malbon on Particle, the thing they're selling most of is like a New Balance golf shoe that then I believe they tag afterwards with Malbon just on like as a
so New Balance
sew-on
550 is their top selling SKU.
Yeah, that and a FootJoy that basically, can you click on the picture? It's essentially the standard out of the box New Balance shoe, but if you look, he's putting like, if you look at the tag on the toe on the tongue, it's got a Malbon logo. I think that they can add later, so it's like a very, very simple,
varied colorways exclusive to Malbon. That's basically it.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, they're basically it's like they're basically reselling New Balance, which is awesome.
Yes, but you just add a little bit of your flavor, and it's that entry point. It's brilliant. They're all over the place, dude. They're going to Korea. I mean, I just absolutely love what he's built. It's incredible. Steven and Erica, but legendary run.
We can call this one. Appreciate y'all.
All right, everybody. That wraps this week's episode. Thanks for tuning in.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
See you guys next week.